just try and talk and see if there's another angle, because maybe you'll pick up the editing. Right. Or maybe you'll do all these events and it's once a month.
Welcome everyone to the episode of Creative Haven with my good friend, Mitchel Reiken. Mitchel is a filmmaker and entrepreneur who has his own teeth whitening product. Awesome hardware. It's out right now. He just launched in October. What's crazy is Michael's also a filmmaker. And we met way back in 2012. Yeah, long time ago.
Internship.
You know what, Mitchel, tell the audience more about yourself, like where you're from and what got you into film.
Well, I'm from Australia, Brisbane. And I came out here in 2011. I moved out here because of my fiance. So we met in 2010 in New York. We did long distance, and I just said, screw it. I'm going to quit my job and move out here, and did internships. So I did Lionsgate. I've always loved film. I sort of quit my job and was working in communications for a finance company. I wasn't going anywhere. I was 24, 25, so I had like a change of career. And then I'm like, okay, I love film. I just never did it at school. I was too scared. Brisbane's a very small industry. I didn't bother. So I went to, I did an internship at Lionsgate, worked on the very first Hunger Games. And then I did a couple other small internships. One of them was where I met you. And learning the business, and then just realized, sitting behind a desk, it's just a business. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. I got to see some parts of it, working with the producer and bits and pieces. And then just thought, I did like a whole year of it, unpaid.
Yeah.
And I used up some of my savings. And then I went back in 2013, and then I just got my first camera, 60D.
Yeah.
My Canon.
A Canon 60D.
Great camera. And I've always been into breakdancing. So I started to film b-boy events, just as you do. And then I started to film more and more. I've been breaking since I was like in 2004. Had a lot of injuries, but just didn't do it so much. But I loved the scene. I just made some videos with friends. And then I did a documentary for the Greek Society, because my mother's side is Greek. So that was like a free thing. And I learned Final Cut. I was using the very first Final Cut, and then Final Cut 7, which I learned on, which is a great program. Anyway, I did a documentary, and then I kind of finally moved out here, got a visa, and then I just started from scratch.
Yeah.
So I did some video jobs where I'm from, because in your hometown, it's easy, you know people. So I could be like, hey, you need a video, I was calling people up.
Yeah.
So it was a struggle. So I took a lot less money. I was on a salary before, so I was comfortable.
Yeah.
I was super comfortable, and then I basically just kept doing jobs and jobs, going back and forth from here to there. 3 months, you can only stay 3 months at a time. And then I finally got a visa with a magazine, which is like more of a part-time thing, and I just kept doing video jobs. So I filmed bar mitzvahs.
Wow.
I filmed 2 bar mitzvahs. It was a nightmare. I hated it.
By yourself, too.
By myself.
Yeah. Oof.
And I never did a wedding. I'm not a wedding person.
Yeah.
There's a market for that. That's cool. It's not my thing. But I just did it because you need money. You're working with like a crazy mom who wants this shot, 8 hours long, like not much money. I did a few of those. You just do whatever you can, you build.
Yeah.
We were filming events together with Strafe TV.
Yeah.
A lot of events, it was good fun.
Fun times.
We met a lot of cool people. It gets you in places and you can meet people and learn. So kept doing that, kept building, and then started to get more clients.
Yeah.
I was using some services online, just applying for jobs, doing bits and pieces. I was lucky to have a client that I met 5 years ago, Connect Media, who I'm still with. So I pretty much one of their staff. I'm on the team. I was the 3rd employee, but I don't actually work for them. I'm still like a contractor, which allows me to do other stuff as well. But I get everything done. I'm always traveling. I was just in San Diego. We're off to Dallas next month for a 3-day shoot.
Nice.
So and before I started that, I started to do residential real estate videos.
Yeah, I remember that.
I worked with a couple of big agents, and a lot of them was like, hey, do you need a video? Hey, do you need a video? And the agents are paying out of their own pocket. I haven't got much money. So you're doing videos for like half-day shoot. But not the best money. Some of them were, but you're just trying to build. And I was lucky enough to get a client, and we did like a dozen videos together. He flew me to Dubai. And then that's kind of we outgrew each other. which is normal. But I started doing that. That's what had the experience to go into Connect, which is commercial real estate.
Yeah.
So now I'm filming buildings, working with CBRE, big companies with bigger budgets.
Damn.
So we filmed like the boardwalk. We filmed that building for 3 years. The drone pilot went out, for 2 years. He filmed the building getting built every 2 weeks. I filmed the progress. There's a nice big office building. I'm like, hey, it's a building. We need to do a commercial at the end. So I pitched them all that. We hired 10 extras, 10 models. I did like a day in the life video. So I made that higher production value. And that's kind of what I'm bringing to that game. And then fast forward, I've been doing that for probably 4 or 5 years. And then last year, me and my brother were like, we should do something together. My brother has 20 years in digital marketing. He used to sell ringtones and wallpapers back in the day. So he's always been around mobile and billing and websites, IT degree. And I'm creative. So I'm like, let's have a product. Let's have a brand. What can we sell? So we did our research for 2 months. We looked at different products. We found that teeth whitening, there's a few key players, but 400,000 searches a month for teeth whitening kit is a big number.
Yeah, people want white teeth.
People want white teeth. They don't want to go to a dentist and pay $2,000. So we worked for a while to source a fantastic product, which is called White Smile. It's wireless, rechargeable, water resistant, dual light.
Oh yeah.
The company we work with in China has the patent, and we basically modified it, worked on a good brand, and we just started to build. And then that's kind of where we are today. That's 6 months in.
What's the name of the company?
It's called White Smile. One word.
And like
Website's called White Smile Teeth.
Nice.
The Instagram's White Smile Teeth now. But there's a lot of competitors, but only a couple of big ones. And we found there's a gap, and a lot of it's about learning, but we're building a brand.
Yeah.
I want to stress we're not just trying to sell something and drop ship it. We have shipping out of California.
Yeah.
We have a brand. We have distribution. We now rank out to 6 months in Google. So it took to 12 to build the brand. That's kind of where we are today in 2020, and working on another company as well. But this is just going to be, I wanted to keep pushing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Keep the main thing.
And maybe even do an iteration of the kit, so it's something else.
Yeah.
We have some crazy ideas that was going to involve like saliva.
Okay.
Some other stuff that's just way far down the line, which we have ideas for where it could go. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think outside the box.
Yeah.
But the next one maybe the kit's got a screen on it, and it tells you like how many cycles you've got, little things like that.
Maybe like that TV screen. Like
Maybe
watch, like, YouTube
maybe like a
video.
4K screen to watch some anime or something, some cartoons. But yeah, that's kind of where we are.
That's awesome, man. Like it's really cool because this whole podcast, the reason why I started is because I wanted to inspire people who had 9-to-5 jobs, wanted to be creative, to pursue their creative like passions and whatnot, whether it's full-time or part-time, but it really was for people who wanted to quit their jobs and start a full-time creative career. You did that.
Yeah, exactly did that.
And it's dope because you kind of went through the whole process of hustling and on the grind. You bought that camera, and then you did all the free work. You went out there, hustled for clients. You did a bar mitzvah you didn't want to do. You ended up doing some real estate. That got you with a client, and then you've been with that client for 5 years. And that's like an awesome story because you hustle your ass off to become a full-time creative.
Yeah, and I'm always still looking for creative projects. Like last year, I shot a documentary for a guy in this building. He's actually moved out. His name's Hassan. He works with Kanye.
Okay.
And he kind of had a different direction for it. We were going to do a series, so things can also happen. So I'm always doing other projects I want to do as well, which allows, and that's how I feel you can do one thing to pay for another as a stepping stone. So don't always see it that way, but I didn't do film school. I studied film. I studied Hitchcock. I never actually went to film school, but I got that Canon. I got that kit lens, and I made it work, and then I outgrew it. And then I bought my old friend's photographers 5D Mark II. Game changer.
I remember this.
5D Mark II, the shutter count was ridiculous. He was a full-time, one of the biggest photographers in Brisbane. Sold to me cheap. That full frame changed the game. And then I'm like, I used that. I bought the Nifty 50. And you can only buy so much. And then you keep building. I bought a wide lens. Didn't have much. And that's what you do. And then I outgrew that. And then I bought a red camera. So I went from that to like, all right, I'm time to step it up. So I bought the Raven, which was only like $5,000. Then I upgraded from that, and now I have the Sony, and those are all I need. But even the new iPhone's great. So it's just like a evolution.
Yeah, I like the way that you put that because you actually started with like a kit lens,
Yes.
you were able to make some magic with the kit lens.
Right.
And it's all about, because a lot of the people that I like to talk to are the people who say, oh, I can't do this, it's too expensive, and have the iPhone 11 in their pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all don't know how much power you have in that phone. Like to start, because I started with a T3i.
Yeah,
and so
good camera.
the whole idea about being a creative is that you got to make art with whatever you got. And then whenever you make that art, you got to just make sure your whole being's in it, like you did it with full integrity, and it's from your heart. That's why I feel that going into business to me is also another creative outlet, because I see it in your branding, I see it in your marketing, like in your mind how to brand it.
Right.
Like it's cool to see the creativity come out of it. So how did you feel becoming a business person? Well, I know when you're filmmaking, when you're on your own, you had your own business, but now you have like
it's different.
A hardware, or it's a business, like a product.
Yeah, it's a physical product. It's e-commerce business, so it's a whole different thing. Before you're selling your expertise and your time, which is easy to compensate. You go home, it's like more quantable, but there's nothing better than having something you sell and then to make money while you sleep.
Yeah.
And it's like to get that feeling. Some days are up, some days are down, but we're still trying to build. It's a time thing, but that's gratifying. I can bring my skills into it. My brother can bring his skills. And I think you have to keep evolving. And there's so much knowledge out there. We're doing a course right now on Facebook ads. And I just came from an event from Google last week, meeting other like-minded people. And I was so good to be there. I felt like I was at a film event. I met a guy selling beef jerky. He's thinking about buying some of the farms out so he can start his own meat. Like, he's thinking bigger. He's probably younger than me. This guy is selling 1,000 orders a day.
Wow.
So you meet people who are actually doing it, but you see their struggles too.
Yeah.
But it's good to be that. I love film. I'm always going to keep doing it. My dream is to have this built up and have a couple businesses and have the freedom to go and shoot a short.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do a feature, but it's like, I know how hard it is and the money and stuff like that, but it's like, why not? I've got ideas to shoot spec stuff.
Yeah.
Even with White Smile, I can go and shoot a high-end commercial, but we're not there yet, and stuff, creative stuff. But right now, it's just about getting the brand, get the model working.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to have that love, but it does blend well, to answer the question. So it's like a progression. But having the experience of working with clients, budgets, things going wrong, even all the way from working in an office, man. I was in an office before all this, working with older men, politics. That helps a lot, having that experience. So there's nothing wrong with having a job and learning how office environments work and then going and doing your own thing, because that's all knowledge.
Yeah.
You learn how to talk to people.
Yeah.
Do you know how important a reply to an email is, or a well-constructed grammar? Those are things that can teach you, and how to deal with other people, how to deal with older people, how to just have that experience which carries through. Following up, little things like that. That all comes
etiquette.
Exactly. So they're all things that play a big part, and I feel it all blends well. It's progression, but and like, why not? We're in the time where we can do these things.
Yeah.
I'm not a dentist. We don't have any affiliation with teeth whitening, but we saw a need for it, and we love it, and we're proud of it. And it's like, let's just try and give it a crack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the world's a big oyster, and now you can market. And it's funny buying something, making a product which is made in China, designed here, and then shipping it to someone in Wisconsin. It's like they see an ad and they buy something you've made. It's powerful.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And then I can always bring my expertise and my love of filmmaking into it, which I do, and creative, but I feel like it's good to have other things going on.
Yeah.
Not just relying on one source of thing.
That's right.
Like sometimes the video thing, like it was ups and downs. You know, some months it's like, I had a low month, you know, maybe it's seasonal. Sometimes it dies off. It's good to have something else. Just like selling White Smile, we have Facebook, we have Google, we have affiliates, different sources of revenue. You can't just sit back and go, oh, Facebook's slow today, I'm not getting sales. And then just forget about it. You got to like, okay, optimize.
Yeah.
How do I improve myself? That's just like filmmaking. Go out and just shoot shit.
Yeah. Just shoot shit.
Just keep shooting. But that's basically the crux of it.
Yeah. It's cool because the way that you put it is that, you know, even when you are a creative, there has to be another way for you to express yourself, or another outlet for your energy. Because if you're too focused in one thing, you get you get into tunnel vision mode. You start getting more biased towards your work and also that industry, and you shut out a lot of inspiration. So I think even when you were at your job and you got pulled away to get into filmmaking, and now you're pulled into entrepreneurship. It's good to see how you're putting it all together, though, because I do believe that you have to work in the office. Because when you work in the office, you just know about the idea of like a structure.
Exactly.
You know, like, yes, there should be somebody calling the shots.
Right.
Okay. It needs to be a CEO. There needs to be a boss. And then under that, there's going to be teams, and you guys have goals.
Right.
You know, it's not just a bunch of Kobe's in an office. It's pretty too soon. Like, you can't have a bunch of like Jordans in an office and not have like a Phil Jackson.
Exactly.
Because no one's going to be able to lead that.
Right.
So I think that's why I feel that right now with a lot of the products they're putting out, you can't imagine doing that 20 years ago. Like, can you imagine having to actually manufacture something in America?
Right.
20 years ago?
Yeah.
And then now you're able to do it for pretty low. I mean, you're probably doing this whole thing, like, of course, under like $1 million.
Right.
It would cost like $1 million.
Easy.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing. So let me ask you, when you are working really hard at your business, do you ever find time to watch a movie still?
Of course.
You know, and like you have to dabble in your.
Of course. I mean, right now I'm all about TV shows. So I'm watching The Outsider on HBO, like some really good shows. And I have to sometimes, because my brother's in Australia, he's my partner. You know, I'm talking to him to 2, 3 a.m. sometimes. So I a lot of the nights I'm not watching stuff or absorbing, but I'm like, sometimes I have to have that break, because that also levels me. And that's like my meditation, which I've started to do more of. Meditation is really good, by the way. But that's kind of like, that brings me joy. But also reading or absorbing something, I do need to listen to more podcasts, but right now it's a lot of watching videos. We're doing a course, so just learning. Yeah,
we talked about earlier when you were saying that sometimes you were working so much that when you were bringing people in, like models for your shoot for your product, you had to come up with the creative ideas. Yeah, it was hard for you to come up with that.
Right.
How do you like to come up with a creative idea? Like, how do you get inspired? Like, what do you do to get that burst of energy to be like, all right, cool, I know what to shoot right now. You go over here, you put this on, I got a wide shot. Like, how do you get into that mode?
I think it just comes from like experience, and like my favorite role is just being a director. Obviously, I can shoot. I wouldn't call myself a DP, but I can definitely shoot. I am a DP, but I'm also an editor as well. You have to wear many hats. So it's just the experience of knowing kind of what to do, like working quick. And then, I'll reference stuff too. So just like, I'm still, sometimes, I don't do it very often, but there's like a couple of websites which allow you to pitch. One of them's Creative Commission, I think it is. Have you heard of it?
No.
Anyway, so basically, I haven't done this for a long time, but my DP friend, Ben, we both sign up to it on the same account, and jobs will come in.
Okay.
We have $15,000, a lot of us from the UK, to film this music video, pitch. So sometimes, I haven't done it for a while, but sometimes he'll come in and we'll lay out ideas, and I'll bring his expertise, because he's a DP. He's worked on a lot more sets than I have, on bigger ones. And he's an Ari Alexa Mini, so he's full-time DP. So we'll have ideas and we'll pitch, and that also helps. We'll reference, we'll take screenshots of videos, stuff that we just remembered, shoots have been on. And then if I'm shooting for like White Smile and I'm shooting in this very space, I've got a limited time because you're paying a model.
Yeah.
So it's just like having everything preset. Also doing research before you do the shoot. So sometimes I'll look at the other brands. What are they doing?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'm noticing a lot of the brands are doing a lot of stuff in studios. That's okay, but it's not really look realistic to sell something. So I'm like, obviously we use a lot of influencers. They're at home. So I shoot here. I make her look like she's at home. I fake it a little bit. I get her using the product. That takes like looking up some other brand. What are they doing? I'm not stealing ideas. I'm just seeing what's in the game.
Yeah.
And if something's done well, there's no point then recreate. If it's done well, you can almost copy it, but make it your own.
Yeah.
And that's what I with White Smile. Like sometimes I'll bring models here, or we'll get a studio. But the next shoot we have to organize is getting a house. Getting a nice house in the hills, getting a bunch of models, getting even a mum in the kitchen with a toddler using the kit. That's good for Pinterest.
Okay, yeah.
So sometimes I go on Pinterest and then it's like, who's the audience, and adapting it. So that's the next shoot we want to organize, which is going to be more of a higher level thing. We'll have some crew. But it's like, you just have to have that inspiration. So by watching stuff, by taking screenshots, by looking at, I use Instagram as a way to find other people, to see what they're doing, not to sit there and get lost in the wormhole, which people do. They sit and scrolling.
Yeah.
What's that guy doing? Oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm not really going to copy it, But it's like, hey, what's happening? It's just like I like to keep abreast of things.
Yeah.
That's how I use Instagram, to find like inspiration.
Yeah.
To see kind of what people are doing, but especially from a brand point of view, I look at competition. I'm not trying to be different, but I know I can. It's that competition that I know I can do better. Like, I know I can. I'm not saying it is, but I know I can. Like, it's like you guys don't have me. Like I have this in house. Like we're powerful. I know we can do better, but it's like it takes time.
Yeah.
But we've already hit we've already done so much in so little time, and I feel like we have to just play catch up. But it's like constantly learning and adapting.
If you could give yourself advice 6 months ago, like you went back in the time machine and gave yourself advice, what would you tell yourself?
Well, I would know a lot more about Facebook, for example.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of Facebook ads right now, and I've never known anything about that at all. So different strategies that work there. I think I would probably tell myself that it was bigger than I thought it would be. It's not. It's like that iceberg photo you've seen where it's like top of the thing, and it's like, but that's the way it is. But I love it because it's ours. I couldn't do this for somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't think if it was not mine. I don't mind staying up late and working and there's always something to do. So I think telling myself, okay, it's going to be bigger than you think. You don't know a lot of shit. Like, I mean, there's no way you can know it, or there's no expert. And I think just to really know that it's going to take time. And I think that's like a lot of things. You have to have a bit of patience. I think a lot of people, that's the other thing. A lot of people, for example, will get a product like teeth whitening. There's a million of them, but they think they can just get rich maybe quick. It's not like that. It's actually a lot harder. There was like 1% in my head of that. Maybe I thought, it's going to be relatively easy, but it's like completely wrong.
Yeah.
You're building a brand. It takes time. Things will go wrong. You fail. But I feel like without the failing, we wouldn't have had like the strategies where I kind of think we're working now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we probably burnt 30, 40K on Facebook. Easy in the last couple of months. Maybe more. But that's just from trial and error. But there's no like rule book. There's no like, Hugo, man. Here's the answer.
Yeah.
But you need that periods of ups and downs to get where you are. Example, like a tracking pixel on Facebook. I didn't even know what that was, but now I understand a pixel. But you need to build history of the algorithm for it to give you that juice. So you need to go through that. We needed to have that video to get 2 million views, which it has. You couldn't just come out the gate knowing what to do. So I think it's those things.
Yeah. And it's cool that you have this experience now, because that's 6 months, man. And you're able to learn so much. And I've seen your packaging; it's legit. And so I just want to say, acknowledge how amazing you've actually turned out. Because the 6 months you've actually grown into like an entrepreneur. Full blown, entrepreneur.
Right.
It's awesome because coming from a filmmaker, you also know about the visual style of how to brand it.
Right.
So you have this specific brand. So when you are making your own commercials and your own branded content, do you get into your producer mode and your creative mode, or do you go into your business mode? Like, it's crazy melding those things together, right?
Yeah, it is. I have to put the business cap on because it's like, I would love to go and have a house, get some models, do that high end, something cool, creative, using the teeth whitening kit. Like, I had an idea of getting like a bunch of people at a house having all the lights off and having all the lights in their mouth. Very abstract. I've had dreams about it, and I've got all these ideas on my phone about shit I would love to, and I know I can do it. But it's like, not yet. It's just like, do what works. We right now have to sell product, get the brand out there, shooting stuff on the phone, getting influencers, getting that real. It's not sometimes very exciting. I don't even shoot on my Red. Like, I have a beautiful camera. I don't even use it. I'll use the Sony on my phone. Well, most of it comes from people that have the product. UGC is very important. It's the most important thing. So it's like, you have to, I can't just sit here and be all like, I'm going to film a music video style. It's got to be proportional. Just like today, I hired an actress to give like kind of a review on the product, but I had to be smart about it and said, okay, I've got to film portrait, I've got to film landscape. I've got to keep it look realistic. It's got to fit. It's got to kind of sell, it's got to sell product. It's got to sell kits. So I can't be like, I can't adding super filters to it. I can't be chopping it up. That's not going to resonate. People just want to see the rawness. So that's the business side coming in. Because I could bring in lights, bring some gels in.
Exactly, right?
I mean, I've got a gimbal.
Yeah.
It's like, but why? It's not really going to need it. So that's when sometimes you got to dial it back. But there's a time for that.
Yeah.
But there's also maybe once you've already built that brand.
Anybody got time for that right now?
Exactly. I ain't got time for that, man.
For you, it's cool to hear what you're saying right now because, they're talking about the phone. I know I used to joke around about the phone, like, oh, they film on their phone. It's so amateur. But now, we just talked about it earlier, it really is accepted. People are okay with phone quality stuff.
It's okay now.
As long as the messaging is there. They connect with the messaging, the person, and honestly, their voice.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, and so I think we're in an interesting state. Now, do you think that takes away? So let's say you backed up a little bit and you were looking at it from your video creator eyes, and you were a video creator and you saw this company just using their phone and not saying, "No, we don't need you for your red." How would you feel about them doing most of their marketing on the phone and not hiring someone like you back in the day?
You'd probably feel something.
Yeah.
You'd feel a little bit something. I mean, you would because you're passionate about that. But I think once you live through it, it's different. So you feel a little bit of ways. Like I've had that before. Where I've had video shoots and it's like, oh, I'm gonna get someone, my family member, my brother to do it, or I can get. I've had that. Like I can get my son to on his GoPro. I'm like, cool. All right, go and do that. But I don't mean to be rude, but it might look like a heap of crap.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, you haven't got the expertise, you can't edit, there's no tone, there's no structure.
Yeah.
So it's like, that happens, but I get it.
Yeah.
But it's about being practical and it's about seeing what works. And there's probably room for that. The bigger brands do it because they've already built that brand.
Yeah.
Like Coca-Cola, all these big brands, they don't need to grow. But when you're going through that, it's also a sign of the times.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with millennials, for example, they're not probably.
You look over your shoulder right there.
Yeah, because there's people playing ping pong. So it's just like they know if I do a highly polished ad with like beautiful models, probably not really going to do as well yet because they haven't got a brand. And a lot of people 18, 25 don't have that much money to spend. So we find a lot of our sales are over 35 and they're males. So majority, we sell a lot female too, but it's like, what do they like? That's why we did it.
Smokers just trying to whiten their
Exactly. So it's like trying to drilling down into actually your audience instead of going broad. It is a broad product. We can sell to male or female. And that's the other thing. It's like trying to have something that's relatively broad without cutting too many people. But I think that's kind of the crux of it.
Do you think that with the filmmaking now, though, because you have a Red, you have like the phone, and you have your Sony, would you think you ever find a camera that would be perfect? Or are you done right now with your cameras? Do you feel like you want to hold out? Do you still have that gear envy?
I still have gear envy.
Yeah.
I would love an Alexa Mini. Like if I had the money, I would buy one tomorrow because it's a beautiful camera, and I'm a camera buff and I love that. But I'm happy with my Sony A7 III.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because I use that. I tell everyone on my shoots, I'm like, it does what you want.
Yeah.
It's light. It's got 2 cards. The batteries. Picture quality is great. It's portable. It's not cumbersome. But if you want that, I've got the other thing. But I love using it because the image is beautiful.
Yeah.
But I'm always looking at cameras to get. Like I want to get the new Fuji thing, which I can sort of take around my neck and take on holiday, which is not. So Sony, I've got a big lens. It's still big.
Yeah.
I'm looking for something smaller, but I guess I'm pretty comfortable. But I'm always looking at, what's happening.
Yeah.
So there is always that element. Like I love cameras, and I've loved like reading like interviews with Roger Deakins and how he shot 1917 and that sort of stuff. I love that still.
Yeah.
But there's always that element of like, there's always new technology as well. But right now, exactly, like phones are great. I wouldn't go and shoot a commercial on them, but but why not?
Yeah.
But it just depends on the tool. But,
so what would you tell that new filmmaker who's either in school or at a job they don't like, and right now they're saying, I don't know if I have enough money to shoot something.
Just use what you have, right? The new iPhone 11, most people won't know how to compare it. They won't even really care. But use what you have. Pick up a secondhand camera. Go to Sammy's, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or use something and just shoot. But it's really what you do with it. I don't be some cliche. You don't need the best tool for the job, but it's kind of true. And it's probably good to learn on something lower instead of going something straight that's like not necessary for you.
Yeah.
And then only get that if you feel like I want that. Like the Red, I've always wanted one because I've put so many years in the game, and I'm like, the Raven came out at $6,000. I'm like, I can do that. And then it opens up the door. But I don't need 8K.
Yeah.
And most clients, by the way, watching, most in the corporate world don't really ask. They don't really care. Obviously, music videos and stuff, you're going to use that because it's there. And we're in Los Angeles. I can ring a guy right now and get some cine lenses if I want. But it's like only if you need to. But I think build on that.
Yeah.
And then, okay, maybe you're tight on money. Do the gig, save up for that lens. Invest in glass, actually. Camera bodies come and go. I've had a bunch of them.
So true. Invest
in a good Sigma lens, maybe spend a G. That lasts you 15, I don't know, a lot of years. Some of the best glasses from the 80s, like Zeiss Super Speeds. Shits are like 60 grand to buy them, but when you rent them, you can see why. So invest in that, and then invest in Adobe Premiere, for example. So it doesn't matter about the camera, it's kind of what you do with it, and just kind of keep learning, keep editing, going out and shooting stuff. Even if you have nothing to shoot, just make stuff up. I don't know. Just go do free stuff. I don't know.
Exactly.
There's always something. It's just there's no excuse. Great. And there's no excuse to sit there and go, I don't know, because obviously there's YouTube. There's so many avenues to learn. There's forums. There's groups you can meet up to. Yeah, just go out and just do it. Yeah.
For you right now, with your business hat on and everything, like, do you think it was really valuable that you were a creative person? As in, like, let's say your brother was just going to do this on his own. Like, would you think that him and yourself would have made this powerful team because of your creativity? Or did you feel like that was an important asset to his mind? Like someone that had a more like engineering, IT, pragmatic mind.
Yeah.
And then you have more and more free flowing, like marketing, like creative mind. Putting those two together.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it makes a massive difference because you can picture things more and you can bring stuff coming into it, more knowledge. It's like, should we do this? Like, I kind of have a plan of what we can do, but without having that experience with filmmaking and stuff, it would have been different. If that wasn't there, if I had to come out here and just worked in another job and then decided to do it, it would make a massive difference because then I wouldn't have the vision for like how the brand's going to look, how to shoot stuff. I'm pretty grateful I can go and do it myself anytime I want without having to go hire someone. Not everyone can do that, but that's just a bonus. I'm just talking my story. But
that's awesome.
That all helps. So it's like, but there's no reason like one day I would love to have enough, the brand to be enough brand, have enough budget to bring people like you or my DP band and go, let's create something. Like I've got ideas to do like short commercials based around like confidence. Yeah. That's what teeth whitening is. But it's like once we get there, but right now you got to build the brand. So 100%, definitely.
So really being a filmmaker really helped you, and also doing the hustle as a video creator.
Yeah.
Being a filmmaker really helped you with this business now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, so do you think that your filmmaking side and your video creator side, hustling and the, getting work, helped you with this new business?
Yeah, definitely helped because it just gives you a different kind of spectrum, gives you a different outlook on how you can do it. So my brother has experience in digital marketing and that side of things. So he kind of had an idea for the online strategy and how we would do the ads. And then it's like, obviously a big part of a brand is marketing and visual. So if I didn't have that, I mean, it would be totally, I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
So, but I still don't have a clue. I'm always learning. I do have a clue, but I'm always learning more. But if I didn't have that and working with different brands and okay, I can start an Instagram.
Yeah.
I can work with influencers. I can take photos, go and do shoots myself. Because it's like having to rely on someone else it's harder. And then knowing how to do things like, okay, you should be posting every day. You have to go take some product shots straight on. You need to go get some models just to get some content to start with. Knowing those things. Even doing on the shoot and going, you need talent release forms. Little things like that. Many other things that help from filmmaking it's like fundamental.
Do you think everything you learn from business now is like basically helping you creatively too? Like now that you're working with clients, you're seeing it more from the business mind of like, let me just tell you how you can brand yourself without, spending money on this.
Yeah, exactly. So even the case in point last night, there was a new company. I went, I wasn't doing anything. So sometimes I'll just take on small shoots. It was like, honestly, a couple $100 for 2 hours. I wouldn't normally bother. It was like right up the road. And they're a new company, a new app that's all about investing. You go to them, they're all young as well. And my DP Ben just recommended, he's like, hey, just if you're free, go and do it. I wasn't doing anything. So I could have been like that guy, like, it's not my half day rate.
Yeah,
and it was like, no, maybe I can go and network.
Yeah.
These are all guys, investment guys. Like they have a new app. They've obviously got some brains. Maybe I can just meet one person. So that was my frame of the door. It wasn't even about like, okay, it was way less than I would normally do. It was easy anyway as an event. I've done like literally 50 events, 100 events in my time.
Yeah.
I know how to shoot events. But it was like, how do I get in there and talk? And at the end, I'm like, look, man, like, you're a new company. Like, what are you doing with the video? They didn't pay me for editing.
Yeah, I got you.
And he's like, look, I don't know. Speak to the owner. We don't know. We need you to help. I'm like, look, I can tell you kind of what to do with it. And then it became a different discussion. So you see it that way.
Consulting.
You don't just go and show up and leave and go, okay, cool, here are your files. If you can, the biggest thing I always do is talk to the client. At the end, I'm like, hey, so what's your year look like? I just shot a documentary. Are you guys thinking about those? Do you guys have an About Us video? Because I just shot a good one. It's a couple of days, and I just kind of talk to them. They might be like, no, we're good, or yeah, and I get them talking. I never just usually go to a shoot and just go, thanks, see you later. I always go at the end, I shake hands, I chat to them. If I work with them again, whatever, if I don't. But like last night I chatted to him, he's like, oh, I've got a clothing brand. I've got a restaurant. This was his house. It was a beautiful home in the hills. He just had to renovate it. So this guy's obviously successful. He's like, I need help. I'm like, I have a production company. We can do everything. I'm not just the guy to come and shoot and leave. I'm not saying everyone does that, but it's like having that mindset. And then now he's like, let's chat by email. Maybe something else will pop up. You know what I mean? So that's bringing the business mind back into the filmmaking. Don't just show up to a shoot and then just like, don't even say goodbye and leave and just and here are your files. You know what I mean? I've dealt with so many other filmmakers that just have the bad attitude. They can't negotiate. They're difficult.
Divas.
They're divas. It's a little bit goes over. And it's just, that's not the way to be.
Entitled.
Be cool because it comes back. Of course, if something's screwed up, then you say something, but have that attitude. Don't go in there and be like, oh, I'm just doing this job and I'm here if it's just like a one thing. I'm never going to see you again. Try and, just try and talk and see if there's another angle because maybe you'll pick up the editing. Or maybe you'll do all these events and it's once a month.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You might have taken less on the first, but over time you're building with a brand.
That's right.
So I have a client now. They're in Glendale. They're a phone software company. I've never met the guy. He's the head of marketing. But every quarter, he's like, hey, I need another video. It's a guy basically talking on the front of a white CYC, like an Apple video. Talking about software. Kind of a boring video. It's half they shoot, right? But he just knows I get it done. And that's a consistent client. And he just doesn't have to worry about it. He just sends me the script. I hire a guy, or it's usually the same guy, and it just gets done. And it's like you can pick up clients like that are repetitive business. So, it all goes intertwined.
That right there is some advice for some filmmakers out there that need to know how to hustle in the game of videography and filmmaking. So how would you say now your mindset has changed, Mike? I mean, honestly, like like from being working in the office, being a filmmaker, and now being a business owner, how has your mindset changed from 10 years ago?
Oh, it's changed immensely because you grow up, you mature. You learn more from just life, from experiences, like taking sacrifices. Like I quit my job, I was comfortable, and I did this, and then I went to like an internship, and I have 2 degrees. I wasn't like, oh, wait a minute, this is like below me. Even like, some of your family might say, what are you doing? Like, but it's like, all right, I just need to try it. I guess the best thing is just to just give it a go. It's just, doing more and more and learning and trying new things and never just settling just for trying to be comfortable. So I was comfortable in a job and it was fine. Nothing wrong with that actually, but it's not for everyone. And I feel like just trying new things, doing more, getting out there, like, meeting you and going film events. You just don't know where things can take or other people you can meet. A case in point last night, just take on things and make the best of it. I think that's probably the best advice. It's just keep doing things, keep growing, keep learning. Travel more. Travel's a big part of it. I wish I could travel more. That opens up your eye. That makes you takes you out of your box, takes you out of your comfort zone. Like I moved out here. I'm from Australia. I didn't know anyone except for my now fiance, but you meet people, you grow. A lot of people can't get out of that box. And I always say, if you can't do it, you can't do it, I get it. But everyone should at least try and go somewhere new. Go travel. Go and just try and do something because it's like, what's the worst that will happen? At least you tried and did it. So it's just like doing things and keep progressing. Now I have a business. Probably didn't think I would do this 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But, you know, when the time's right and you're trying, and we're just giving it a crack. I've never sold anything. I've never been a brand owner before. But there's so many tools out there and systems now available that there probably weren't 10 years ago that are available. And then it's finding the best ones to, that's what I mean. It's like we've found so many systems that work, from, you know, a Shopify to a Facebook to a Klaviyo to this, that help you make your business better, that probably didn't exist. And then getting people to help. So we have articles written in India, you know what I mean? I've got a guy who does my animated logos living in Poland. So just finding people you can help. And that's the same with video production. Like, there's things I can't do. Trust me, I've sat there to try and do After Effects videos. I've learned After Effects, but I'm not an expert.
Right.
But there's certain things I can do. There's certain things I'm just like, I get quoted all the time. I need this done. I'm like, I can't do that, but I say yes. I say, sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
I've never done that before. But I'll quote on it. I might not get it. But you find someone who can do it. Yeah. And that's the way it is. And that's what sometimes I used to do that. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. But you find someone you can link with, and then you collaborate, and then that's the way it should be. Because it's collaborative. So I have a guy who does animated logos. I could do it. It would take me like 3 days. This guy might do it in 2 hours. Why am I going to do it? Okay, maybe you save a bit of money, but it's like time. Time's precious. Like, so find someone else who can just do it. I think that's kind of the ethos, and just kind of build.
Love that. That's like probably the best string of advice I've heard this whole year. No, I just want to, seriously acknowledge you and just like congratulate you, man, because I've seen you grow all these years. I remember Citron and Strife, us filming events, and those were the days of the hustle.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen it in you, and I see that your progression. It's been cool to watch. Yeah. And also, I'm like just proud of you, man. Because we're here today. We get to hang out, chill, have a beer. Yeah. And at the same time talk about our story and how we're gonna keep growing, man. Because we're both gonna grow. And it's gonna be pretty amazing. Yeah. Down the line, how it's gonna look. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Before we go, let the people know where to find you. Both companies, Aristokat.
Yeah. So yeah, you can always tag it, but it's at Aristokat is my Instagram. So that's just some of my work that I post. I don't use it frequently. And then White Smile is White Smile Teeth now is Instagram. The brand is just whitesmileteeth.com. That's our brand. But yeah, my company is Aristokat Media. It's Aristokat. I've just always loved that name. I don't even know why I even chose it, but it's just always stuck. But that's kind of where you'll find me. All right. Well, cheers, mate. Appreciate you. Cheers, mate. Hope you all like that. Thank you. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Creative Haven podcast. And if you dig it and like what you heard today, please give us a nice review and rating and share it with one of your friends that you think needs some creative inspiration. You can always find more content and resources at thecreativehaven.com and hit me up on Instagram at Mitchel Dumlao. And if you want to reach out, collab, or ask any questions, you have my permission to slide into my DMs. So keep positive, continue to learn and hone your craft, and create all day. Salamat.